Hi, everybody. John Harris here with you from the cheap seats, and the fellas started out okay. We all did pretty well for the first part of the week, including the Christmas games, which I did not watch Netflix. I didn't give in. Was kind of tough, but not a problem because to me there's more of a message to send. Not that they care, but at least for myself. Um I didn't think getting Netflix just to watch a football game was worth it to me. And I don't mean financially. I just mean um, I don't know if you want to say morally or what, but wasn't worth it to me. So we'll go into it. It'll be a kind of a short show. Billy has a family medical emergency. We wish him and his family well. We wish them every good thought that and prayers that because they do need them right now. Uh, he's had a tough couple years, that family, and they're hanging in there. But we wish them everything that we can as far as good wishes, thoughts, prayers, and we hope everything goes as well as it can. Roger is I don't know. I think he might be on assignment. I'm not sure. He did send some pics for up through Saturday, but I don't have any Sunday pics from him. So Billy did send in pics. I'll go over real fast what we did last week and what we did so far this week. Last week we all struggled a little bit. Straight up games we did all right. Roger only picked four games, but he was 3-1. Billy was 11-5, as was I, with just straight up picks. Against the odds, Roger, Billy, and I were all 500. Roger was 2-2. Billy and I were 8-8. That brings season totals up to Billy at straight up games at 67.7%. I'm at 67.1, so basically Billy has like half a game on me or something. And Rogers at 58.2. When we look at the odds, uh, Billy is 97-82 with eight pushes at 54.2%. Roger 79, or I'm 79 and 11, or 79. What? It's the Riff program, folks. Sorry. 122 and 79 with 11 pushes, 61.1%. So I've been going down a little bit lately, but trying to hang in there. And Roger is 73 and 85. He has struggled the last couple of weeks with six pushes. He's at 46.2%, but still teetering near that 50% mark. So we hope Roger gets back up there. Uh, so far this week, the Thursday night game, actually Wednesday, there were three games. We all picked Kansas City to win and cover, and that worked out fine. Billy and I picked Baltimore to win and cover, and that worked out for us. Roger picked Baltimore to win the game, but Houston to cover. Unfortunately, that did not go well for him. So he won straight up, but lost against the spread. Uh, Billy and I picked Seattle over Chicago. Uh, we both lost the Seattle part because it was 3.5 at kickoff, and it was that exciting 6-3 game. So we lost by half a point. Roger won them both. He picked Seattle to win, Chicago to cover, so he gets a double win there. Good for him. That's a smart pick, but who knew it would be 6-3? Jeez. Um, we all picked the no, we all picked the Chargers to win the game. Billy and I picked them to cover. We both took a double win there. Roger took New England to cover, and of course they didn't, so he took a loss there. Uh, we all took Cincinnati to win and cover, and that turned out okay, even though it was a tough game. Cincinnati wins it with a touchdown. The spread was 5.5, and they win by six, so we'll take it. Rams and Arizona. Billy and I took the Rams to win, Arizona to cover. We both got a double win there. Roger took the Rams across the board, so we got a win in the game, but a loss against the spread. Uh, Going to the 1 o'clock games. First, some injuries to tell you about. In the 4 o'clock game, Jason Hurts is out for Philadelphia with a concussion. Kenny Pickett will start. He's got some rib tenderness, but he's going to play. He's going to start. He got that last week when he filled in for Hurts. Also, CD Lamb is out and placed on IR for Dallas, so he's done for the season. He's been playing hurt with a bad shoulder all season long, and now that the Cowboys have been eliminated, there's no sense possibly making that worse. Might as well get him in rehab or whatever they have to do to get him better for next year. Derek Carr is still out for New Orleans. He has a broken hand he's recovering from. Whether he'll make it next week or not, or whether they'll decide to let him rest, we don't know. So he's out. Uh, and Olave may be out. It's a game time decision at this point, but we're looking at some things to see what we can do. I do have the NFL crawl going across, which is starting to talk about injuries and inactive. So if I see anything that pops up, we'll let you guys know. Joe Flacco is in, and Richardson's out for the Colts today due to injury as well. So Joe Flacco is starting for Indianapolis. Uh, and we will see what happens with that. Looking here, the Jets game, they don't have any skill player inactives that I see there. Um, Buffalo against the Jets, and that's why I mentioned the Jets situation. Damar Hamlin is out today. He's inactive. For the Bills, that looks like all of the possible skill players that we see. Buffalo is picked by 10 against the Jets. After seeing how the Jets are, not the Jets, how the Bills struggled last week with New England, um, I'm going to take the Jets to cover. Billy's taking Buffalo across the board. So we'll see what happens there. The Colts, uh, we're both Billy and I are both taking the Colts. It's a 7.5 point spread. Joe Flacco, I think, is still good. Yeah, Richardson's out. It's just confirmed that for the Colts inactive against the Giants. I'm taking we're both taking the Colts to win and to cover the spread. The Giants are just terrible. It's just awful, and they're going to blow that up and start all over next year. Uh, Taking a look at Carolina's inactives, they're playing Tampa Bay, and they've played really well lately. They've lost some close ones. Um, so it looks like Tampa Bay by 9.5. Billy took Tampa Bay across the board. I'm going to take Tampa Bay to win, but Carolina to cover. They've played really well the last few weeks, like we said. So I'm going to take them to cover. Um, Tennessee looks like Tony Pollard is inactive today, so he's going to be out for the Titans. Uh, I'm looking to see here. Jaguars in that same game. No skill players seem to be out. So that looks like it's still going to be Tampa Bay. I'm thinking Carolina to cover. Minnesota and the Packers, it's 1.5 on the spread right now. There don't appear to be any major um, inactives at the moment. So both of us took Minnesota to cover the 1.5 point spread. It is in Minnesota, and we're going to go with that. Going to be a tough game. That's probably the game of the day because they're both playing for something. Green Bay's trying to improve their playoff statistics. Minnesota still has a shot at winning that same division, so they're going to go from there. We've also just seen that for the Saints, Alvin Kamara is inactive in their game against the Raiders as well. So Billy and I both took the Raiders in the next game on the board. It's up to 2 points now. We both taken the Raiders to cover especially now that Kamara's out as well as David Carr. And Olave, it still hasn't been decided, still supposedly a game time decision. Uh, Tennessee, Jacksonville, it's a 1 point spread. Jacksonville is picked. Billy and I both took Tennessee here. Um, it is a 1 point spread. It's in Jacksonville, so it's basically a pick 'em. Both teams aren't playing well this season, and we'll have to see what happens from there. Miami and Cleveland. Tua is out. I think that's more precautionary. And to be honest, he's probably out next week too, because the Dolphins are out of the running as well. There is no sense him getting hurt and any worse or risking a concussion for a game that doesn't have any playoff implications for either team. Uh, Miami is still picked by 3.5. It was like 5.5 before Tua was announced to be out. Um, we're both still taking Miami. I think they have more weapons than Cleveland offensively. Uh, I believe Skylar Thompson is going to quarterback for Miami. He's had some experience doing that before. So we're going to go with Miami. Both of us are to cover. That is your first 4 o'clock game. The next one, 4 o'clock Eastern, Dallas and Philadelphia. It was at 10, but now that Hurts is out, it's down to 7.5. Uh, I think Dallas will cover, to be honest with you, even without CD Lamb. Philly has first off, Dallas will play tough. Plus, Philly has a reputation for playing down to whoever their opponent is. So just a hunch on that one that I think Dallas may cover. I may get weak, and if I do, I'll probably announce it on Facebook that I'm getting weak and deciding to take Philadelphia. But you got to remember Kenny Pickett starting. I think he's capable, but he's not Jalen Hurts. So I think that's going to be a little closer for Philadelphia to to try and beat Dallas. Atlanta and Washington. This is a tough game for me. For some reason, Penix had a great game last week, and he still could have another one. But boy, you got to give it to Jaden Daniels as well. He's playing really well. It is in Washington. It's not indoors, so it's a little foggy and misty and chilly in Washington. I'm going to take Atlanta to cover, though. It's a 3.5 point spread, but Billy took Washington to win and cover. I take them to win. Same thing, though. I may get a twitch before game time and say, hey, that's tonight, Sunday night football. Um, so I would say I'm still at this point picking Atlanta. It'll be exciting to watch both two very good young quarterbacks play the game tonight. And Monday Night Football in a game that means a lot for Detroit, but not a whole lot for San Francisco. Detroit is picked by 3.5. Uh, San Francisco's injuries just crushed them. Detroit's too on defense, but I think San Francisco's are just way too many to overcome in skills positions. Detroit does have quite a few defenders missing, um, but the spread's 3.5. I think Detroit has to win it. They want to keep the number one seed, plus win it to win the division. So especially if Minnesota wins, which they'll know by the time they play Monday night, obviously. Um, so Billy and I are both taking Detroit across the board. Uh, Other sports news during the week, of course, Teoscar Hernandez re-signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Uh, so the Dodgers signed Soto. They still have Ohtani, or I'm sorry, they didn't sign Soto. What am I thinking? Soto signs with the Mets, of course, last week. Hernandez signs with the Dodgers. They already have Ohtani and Freddie Freeman, and um, so that team's loaded, or loading up. There have been some other signings that don't seem so glamorous, but do help some teams in their spots. The Yankees signed Max Fried, so that's to help their pitching. Uh, the big name out there still lurking. Everybody thinks he'll re-sign with the Mets is Pete Alonso, but nobody knows for sure as of yet. Um, so baseball, the hot stove, which we knew would start to heat up after Juan Soto signed, and that's what's happening. There are some guys that are signing some contracts that are probably a little bit bigger than they would be if Soto hadn't gotten the money he got, which is a reminder is 765 million over 15 years. So, so he gets a little chunk of change, um, which means also because he's in going to be in New York, which he was last year, his taxes are going to smack him too. But when it's that much money, you're fine. You just make sure you hire the right people to take care of all that. That's all, and that's not always easy. So we'll see what happens. Does look like Dean, the linebacker, is inactive today for Philadelphia for the Eagles. Um, and yes, it is Tony Pollard is on inactive for Tennessee. We're just looking across some of the injury reports here before we get ready to sign off. I know it's a short and sweet show. We do want to thank our pal Dennis Ingraldi from Vineland Realty Corporation, uh, who have sponsored us for everything we've done with Public John. Um, so in South Jersey, if you need help with your real estate, folks, you can't get a better guy, a more loyal guy, a more dedicated crew than the folks at Vineland Realty Corporation, headed by my pal Dennis. They are at 634 East Landis Avenue in Vineland, New Jersey. Uh, I'm going to try and get their phone number again for you. I don't know why I can't remember it because every week I say it and I recognize the address and remember that, but I can't remember the phone number and I really don't know why. It's You'll find out someday when you get a little older that the memory isn't is always what it should be. It is 856 690 9482. 856 690 9482. That's Vineland Realty Corporation, 634 East Landis Avenue for all your business, residential, and property needs. If they can't help you directly, they can get you to someone that will. And that's Vineland Realty Corporation. Thank you guys. I hope you have great holidays. Hope you had a Merry Christmas. And we hope that the new year is good to you guys as well. I think we'll talk to you before then, but just in case, for all you folks at Vineland Realty, happy of the holidays, the happiest of holidays. Like we said, Billy's going through an issue right now, and we hope everything works out for him and his family. He'll let us know. And I'm sure we'll hear back from Roger pretty soon. If he does send in some pics, we'll update him probably on Facebook or YouTube or something. But until then, there you go, folks. They are the picks. We will revisit before the season. Billy and I did some picks for division and who would make the playoffs. And if not next week, then week after. After next week's last regular season game, Billy and I will do a little extravaganza to let you know who we picked and how we think it's going to go. Uh, if there's any updates to that, and of course, by then we'll know who is in and who is out, so we'll know how accurate our preseason pro, um, our preseason predictions went. I was going to use a bigger word, but it left me. So memory again. So. There you go, folks. So that's your week 17 from the Cheap Seats NFL picks. We thank you guys for joining us. Enjoy the games, everybody, and we will talk to you next week. Good night and Happy New Year, everybody.